Whelan, the 3 in a row that many people said couldn't be achieved in the modern era, achieved by the Dubs, but it has to be said, they showed incredible resilience in the end, because in the last 10 minutes I was sitting with you, 2 or 3 times we thought it was heading Mayo's direction.
Yeah, they did. They showed incredible resilience. Mayo threw everything at them. You know, it was end-to-end stuff in that final quarter. But, like, you got to hand it to them. They're remarkable in lots of ways, I suppose. Jim took over this team in 2013. You know, I think they've been in 10 national finals. They've won 8 of them, you know. An incredible record, and I think they have to celebrate it. They've created history tonight. It's very, very difficult to come back and defend an All-Ireland title, but to come back and win the 3 in a row is fantastic. But it was small margins. It really was. Like, if you look at all the stats of today's game, they're all so even. Mayo came out, we knew before the game they were the one team that could match them physically. They didn't fear it. They weren't going to stand off them. There was an undercurrent by both teams. There was a lot of off the ball stuff. They matched them right to the very end, and, like, it's the width of a post at the end of the day. But Dublin had a lot to do at half time. Mayo had dominated that first half, and it was hard to believe there was only a small margin in it at half time. They came out in the second half. They settled into the game. I think the subs made obviously a huge impact, and they had to really hang on to get there and fall over the line again, similar to last year. But, like, I think if you reflect, Mayo probably improved even on last year, and Dublin just had to be that edge ahead of them. But there was nothing in it, Des, nothing in it.
Well, Kevin, before I get from you the Mayo reaction, Tomas, you and I walked out of the ground together. It was the most bizarre atmosphere in that the Mayo fans, I never saw supporters so devastated. Did you feel that way as well?
Yeah, I suppose it was kind of surreal, Des. You know, it was an atmosphere after, you know, obviously the Dubs were delirious, but, I mean, the fans have been outstanding for Mayo all season, and it was just heart-wrenching. You know, 76 minutes gone and draw a game. And, you know, they come out of there, but you have to hand it to the Dubs. 3 in a row is absolutely fantastic. You know, the guys that were driving them on, the Bernard Brogans, the Michael Darras, the Paul Flynns, you now have Jack McCaffrey's, the Manions, the Kilkennys, the James McCarthy's driving. There's different leaders there. They're an outstanding team. The records they have, it speaks for itself. The composure even at the end, the last couple of minutes there where they held on to possession, the courage of that free kick.
Looked high risk.
You know, it was risky, but they held on to it. And Mayo, you know, they did everything right. They pushed up, they cracked Cluxton, they went man on man, they were so brave. The stats, everything was so level, but, geez, you know, you have to give it to Dublin, like that. They're just an outstanding team. I wouldn't have complained if it was a draw. I don't think anybody could have complained. But, you know, Dublin just took that chance. I think that kick at the end was unbelievable under pressure. It was very like 11 actually with Cluxton, you know. Yeah.
You didn't fancy him to get that
I don't know about that. He got it anyway.
Yeah. Kevin McStay, I mean, you're the Roscommon manager, but you're a Mayo man. You've played in All-Ireland final for Mayo. Can you put into words what it's like for Mayo people tonight?
Oh, it's very tough. It's very tough because, you know, it's the expectation, the hope, in the build-up to it. And in a funny way, this is my take on it, this is the one final where Mayo should be so pleased with their effort, like they maxed out on just about everything, and yet here we are again looking at a one point defeat. And in the 62nd minute, bear in mind now that Mayo are 2 up, so
there's 8 minutes left.
Maybe plus the time added on, but and Dublin still have the mettle, the resilience, the resolve to keep after it, and looked like they were going to keep after it. There was no sense that it was a done deal. But I suppose when you lose by a point, as the lads will know, every player looks at the wouldas, the couldas, the shouldas. The supporters will look at every chance, every decision by the ref, and that's, you know, and the misses. That'll go into deep winter. But I can't say anything but good things about the effort that the Mayo players and the supporters put in today's final. It was particularly special.
Their tactics were spot on.
It was an outstanding effort, but just, you know.
Okay, well, we'll look at all that.
Such a tight margin.
Yeah, as Kieran said, a lot of tiny things, and we're going to look at all of those in a moment. But first, let's head back to the Dublin Team Hotel and see who has joined Michael Lester.
Des, I was saying a little bit earlier on the programme that it is familiar territory being here in the Gibson Hotel in Dublin and being here on a night when Dublin are celebrating winning the All-Ireland. Though I have to say, maybe at about 5:05 today, I wasn't quite sure whether I was heading to the Gibson or heading out to City West, where, of course, tonight Mayo are having their function. But here we are. And back with familiar faces again, we have with us, of course, Jim Gavin, the Dublin manager, and Stephen Cluxton, your successful winning captain. Gentlemen, very welcome indeed. Thank you very much for being here with us. Jim, I was saying obviously a moment ago about today, and really we were contemplating the fact that we'd be back in a fortnight's time for a replay. Down pitch side for you, what was your feeling in the last few minutes of the game?
Yeah, I think recent Dublin Mayo games have been nip and tuck, and there was no surprise to the Dublin players that there was very little in it going into the last couple of minutes. I thought our boys showed good composure when the game was there to be won, but I think if the game went either way today, I think no side would have been disappointed.
Yeah. Would you have objected to coming back, Stephen, in a fortnight's time? I know you're happy to have won it, but if it worked out that way?
I suppose if it had worked out that way, we would have just adapted.
I'd take it.
Yeah, just adapted and run with it, So we're just lucky we got out the right side of the draw today,
It didn't work out that way. You walked up the steps of the Hogan stand today. And for you personally, and I said this to you, I know before, but reflecting this evening on it, this Dublin team that's achieved the 3 in a row, and you've been there, obviously, for all of their victories in recent times, you must be very proud of that.
Yeah, definitely proud to be a part of such a fantastic group of lads. It's just an honour and a privilege to put the jersey on with these guys. They truly are magnificent fellas, each and every one of them, gentlemen, and they're an absolute privilege to play with.
Jim, so many of the lads playing with Stephen in this championship, younger fellas, of course, and they have a lot of years ahead of them. What do you think the future for Dublin is? I know that's a hard thing when you've just won 3 All-Irelands in a row. How much more can you achieve? How much more do you want to achieve?
I suppose that one of the biggest strengths of this squad is their attitude, and what they bring from their clubs and what they bring to Dublin each time we're with them. But in terms of the future, there's so many good teams out there, Michael. If you put any of the top teams against head-to-head in championship football in an Ireland final, there's not going to be much in it, and that's what we have seen and we've experienced over the last number of years. So, we're very grateful that we've won today, and thankful for it. But it's all this is down to the great hard work, dedication, sacrifice that the players have put in over the last number of years, and that's what they're going to have to do again.
By the way, are you guys taking tomorrow off?
We aren't. I am.
He's hesitating. Are you, Jim?
I certainly am.
Good man yourself. How are you fixed? I know you're a school teacher, so it's a little bit more difficult.
We might take a couple of hours off, all right, yeah.
He's smiling. He's taking the day off. I can guarantee you. Lads, well done again.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you very much for
Appreciate that. Thank you.
See you later on, Des.
All right, we'll be back to you. There might be a phone call for Jack McCaffrey, but the next time you're back on, it's a fair achievement. You were making the point, Tomas. Stephen Cluxton has lifted Sam Maguire 4 times. We'll chat about that later. It's extraordinary, and it's great scenes for them. Obviously, we saw all the fun, but it's hard to imagine what some of the Mayo team must be feeling at this time, because it was pure heartbreak for them. And their manager, Stephen Rochford, tried to sum it up for us.
They're all very difficult to take. Too many of them now at this stage, but it's what it is. Sport can be tough and cruel, but
Go back to 2011, where Dublin actually got the monkey off the back, and what it did for them as a team. Yeah. And that's all probably there. I know they're getting older, but a lot of those guys will be back next year. They'll come back and they'll give it another go.
This season was their 7th All-Ireland semi-final in a row. And I know Kerry and Dublin have done similar numbers, but I was making the point during the week, yes, they have, but they've been winning All-Irelands to sustain them coming back. Whereas this particular Mayo bunch, the 2011 onwards bunch, if you like, definitely the greatest bunch of players Mayo have had since obviously the last 150-51. But to come back to 7 All-Irelands, Tom, without the cup to sustain you coming back each year, in other words, they've had to just dig in and come again. It speaks volumes for the sort of people they are, and they're very, very tough pictures, no doubt about it.
OK, well, we're going to reflect on the game. We'll have the analysis, our Sunday game, Team of the Year and Man of the Match from today's final. That's all coming up. We'll see you shortly.
SuperValu are behind the ball, from hundreds of grassroots clubs to the GAA Senior Football Championship.
Nice movement, lovely ball from Keane O'Sullivan. And there you go. Takes him on, cuts inside. People were talking about the steps, but nothing really of note in it, except the finish is unbelievable. The bit I just want to have a peep at here is the sweeper. You know, Donny Vaughan will be disappointed he didn't cut off that avenue. He gets caught up high, and now he's really out of the play, and they're scrambling. But he drops it from his left to his right, and doesn't give David Clark a chance to really set. And that's the instinctiveness. You know, this is a schoolyard finish. That is absolutely top drawer. That's a brilliant finish from the young fella. As I said, in the first play, and we're just reflecting there in the break, All-Ireland club.
Hurling medal.
The under-21s, All-Ireland level. Today, a senior one, he'll be in the mix for, I'm sure, Young Player of the Year, maybe even Senior Player of the Year. So he's having a decent run. Yeah. Great goal, though. Really terrific finish. I love that finish. Just made it up on the spot, improvised, and took to it. Against one of the best shot stoppers in the country. I know that we keep saying that, but Clark is a massive man when he spreads himself. He doesn't leave much of the goal open, and he tucks it into the side netting.
Well, that was the dream start for Dublin, but Mayo, again, we spoke of resilience of Dublin. Mayo hung in there and came back into the game straight away.
They did, and after that goal, you're thinking if Dublin get a point or two, what direction are we taking? But we said before the game, Des, that Mayo had to go at Dublin from the start and press the Dublin kick-out. And you can see in the first half, Dublin lost 6 of their 14 kick-outs, and a lot of them were long kick-outs. And Cluxton has been very effective with his long kick-outs, but Mayo flooded the middle of the park. And you can see here, there's only one winner of that ball. There's 4 men surrounding it. It's just raw intensity. And you can see Mayo win possession, breaks for them, and a simple score. Donny Vaughan comes on the end of it here. Very, very easy score over the bar. Next, another kick out, and there was 3 kick outs in this half. You can see Mayo again, they're pressing up, 8 men, zonal, trying to put pressure. Cluxton goes long again, 2 on 2, Mayo win it. They come forward, ends in a score for Andy Moran. That Mayo had a huge platform there in that first half, and Dublin kind of were struggling. And it resulted, as I said, when you're winning kick-outs and you're getting scores straight off them, it's hugely effective. And it was great, you know, they bounced back after that goal to get themselves back in the game. Here we have again a situation where they're, after that breaking ball, 4 men, only going to be 1 winner when it breaks in the middle of the park, and ends up for a great score for Jason Doherty. Ball into the corner, and this particularly good score. And at this stage, Mayo are in the ascendancy. They're looking good. It's 7 points to 1-2. But to Dublin's credit, they recognise this, and you can see Jason Sherlock, who's done more running today around Croke Park probably than some of the players. He comes straight into Cluxton, and that was the last long kick out that Stephen Cluxton hit all day. Everything else went much shorter, and you can see the second half, 11 kick outs, 100% return, and what that does, that takes away that Mayo dominance. It takes away that platform. It gives Dublin possession, and Dublin were able to build then from the back, and it had a huge effect on the game, because Dublin had possession off every kick-out and were able to work it down the field.
Did Mayo not press last year on Dublin's short kick-outs?
Mayo's massive improvement, this is the point I was just going to make, I didn't want to come across Kieran when he was going through it, is that Mayo have improved dramatically on the overload. When you go long, Mayo have practiced it, they've been outstanding in it in the championship this year. When you go long, once the ball floats over the half line, they just turn and run towards the break area. So they're just overloading, and they're ending up with flooding, if you want to call it.
So other teams need to learn to do that when they're playing?
Well, Mayo are market leaders.
But they've huge physique across the middle as well. And O'Shea was out there with Parsons and Seamus O'Shea, and they were across the middle. They were always going to cut down those flanks in Dublin, and they were probably happy for Dublin to go short. But in the second half, see, it was really the difference it made to Dublin's game, because Dublin had all that possession in the second half, and they were able to work it out and build it. But when you're losing a kick out, your own kick out, you're immediately on the back foot.
And that's easy scores accrue as well.
You take the third quarter, Mayo didn't get a score from play because Dublin were just controlling the game at that stage.
Can I make a very small point, lads? And this is very interesting. You know, a lot of people think everything is choreographed and orchestrated. And you Stephen Cluxton, you know, the greatest keeper of all time. I was going to say perhaps, for sure. And yet, the assistant coach runs onto the field. You know, wouldn't you think all that experience around the Dublin scene that have figured out Jeez, we better
Well, it was
stop
obvious
going
to
long.
everybody
Yeah,
that
like
there was going to be a
but
change of
we're
strategy.
in All Ireland final day. Everything isn't as obvious as it looks, and Jason has to jog on and
the other
say,
factor, Kevin,
let's
the
go
inside
short.
line
You
were
know?
being covered. The inside line, so the short kickouts weren't there, so he had to go long. And I think the half-backs were making a lot more runs as well as the full-back line, or the
fair
full-forward line,
fair
and
point.
they were, or the full-back line were making themselves available.
But Tomas, so the chat amongst you, was this the key part of the game? So Mayo now are winning these kickouts.
Yeah.
They have dominance, and yet at half-time it's only Mayo 9 points, Dublin 1-5.
Yeah, with the dominance, I suppose my issue with it is, and it happened against Kerry as well, with the dominance they have from it, it doesn't transfer onto the scoreboard. You know, overall, the stats are very, very close. Out of 26 chances, Dublin hit 18. Out of 29 chances, Mayo hit 17, you know, and Mayo hit 8 wides all day, Dubs hit 5. But the reality is, and to be fair to Mayo, it's been thrown at them, these chances are too easy, Des. The Dubs wouldn't be missing these chances. McLaughlin stood up 2 points from play, Jason Doherty 2 points from play, Cillian O'Connor 3 points from play, Andy Moran 3 points from play.
4 lads, yeah.
But these scores, like, they are very, very good chances. And, you know, coming in at half-time, the Dubs must have said, hey, lads, we haven't played here in the first half. We have got dominated at midfield, yet we're only a point behind. And Mayo are so tough and such a good team that they didn't... Dublin were going to throw everything at them in the second half, and they were still there in the last minute. So 1 or 2 of these go over. This is a Cillian O'Connor score that he would kick over normally in his sleep. So, I mean, in that first half, 5 wides in the period of huge dominance, 5 wides and 2 into the goalie's hands. Two of those out of 7.
It's the Achilles heel.
There was at
You know, it
least
doesn't pad
5
out
of
the
them,
lead.
Kevin, that were really
I know,
scoreable.
I accept that.
No pressure
I mean,
being put
through
on.
the generations, this is the Achilles heel, that when you're on top, not padding it out for the inevitable downtime you're going to have at some stage.
What do you mean by when you say through the generations?
Well, I would go back into my own time beyond it, the 70s. I remember that being a big, you know, Mayo get loads of possession. They always have big men over the decades, and possibly don't respect it as much as we should do. And then get those misses, and they do drain you. Like, you know, they're easy enough chances.
If you are asked, like, what was the difference in Mayo this year? Their forwards stood up. You know, that full forward line hit 8 points from play today. 8 points from play, that full forward line hit. So their forwards did stand up, but they have such dominance. They create such chances that they don't take all the chances.
You got to score the scores you're supposed to score.
Yeah.
You know,
Right, so it's 9 points to 1-5, then half-time, and you felt, well, Dublin made a couple of key substitutions maybe, but it all changed then the beginning of the second half.
Yeah, it changed, Des, and they had to change in the second half because the first half they just hadn't performed. But this was a huge statement of intent. James McCarthy getting up, winning that throw, because Aidan O'Shea, we know, is very, very strong. And that was, you know, right from the off, laid on a marker, up, they get a free. Dermot Conley's on the pitch, Kevin McManam's on the pitch, Higgins is following Conley. Mannion comes out here, turns straight away, score over the bar, statement of intent. Even the intensity levels, you know, they're back up. You can see here, great turnover from Brian Fenton. He's back, he's working. You can see there's a different intent from Dublin in the second half. They win it back. Who features in these 2 pieces? Conley and McManam. Dublin had started on O'Gara. The experiment probably didn't really work. Jack McCaffrey was a massive loss, and they lost probably their shape. But the second half, they came out very, very different focus. And you see McManam, the strength McManam has on the ball. What this guy has done coming off the bench is phenomenal. Again, cuts in, pops the ball over the bar. Here we have a perfect example of Keith Higgins came out in the second half, and Mayo knew the changes. They were very laid out. He says, I have to keep an eye on Colony. Lee Higgins on Kilkenny. What does it do? It leaves the space. Paul Mannion had an excellent second half. Dublin really needed him in the second half. Here he gets through. Probably should have given it to Conor O'Connell, and it's in the back of the net. But great save by Clark. Regroup over the bar. Simple score. And the key thing there was in that third quarter, as I said, Mayo didn't get a score from play. So it was a combination of the kickouts, the change of it. You know, they had to up it. They knew in the first half it wasn't good enough. And they came out, they dominated that third quarter.
Back to the
obviously, until the goal, when Keegan got the goal, like, that was the time when Mayo had that momentum again. They could have got them back into it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and they never went away. And then came, what a lot of people are saying might have been the turning point. Dublin get a second yellow card.
Yeah, well, the score lines won 9-11 in favour of the Dubs. You're 12 minutes into the second half. John Small is already on a yellow card, and I think there's no doubt that this is a yellow card straight into Colin Boyle's chest. Now, I don't know what Vaughan was thinking of. Mayo are in a scoring position. Like, it is tough on him. You know, he got sent off in an Ireland final, it is tough. But there is absolutely, this is WWE stuff. This is just a clothesline straight away. And it's ridiculous, really, because what he has done is Mayo have a numerical advantage and going into the last quarter of the game, still in a great position and could make it count. And straight away, you've just taken away that advantage. It's a silly thing, he'll regret it, but it was a key moment in the game. And it was a moment. There was no doubt that it was a red.
But I
There was
think
no doubt.
the key thing there is to put the free in, you know. Again, you're back to small margins, you know. That's the ski, free in a score.
It's a throw in the Dublin win. Dublin win the throw in.
Dublin win the throw in and Dublin on the attack. That's like it's inches, but
or put minutes on it now.
And the other,
sorry, Kieran, a sec. Just if you put minutes on it, that's the 48th minute. He blew up in the 79th. That's a half hour where
an extra man.
Mayo could have had the extra man, and it would have been it would have been incredibly helpful.
But Mayo are around so long, like they would make that extra man count.
You'd imagine.
You
would imagine.
And I think going down to 14 aside, to Dublin as well. You know, because particularly with the lads and the impact that they had off the bench that Mayo didn't have, it suited Dublin.
They kept coming back all day. The stadium nearly shook with the noise when Lee Keegan got that goal.
Well, see, it's to their eternal credit. Like McCarthy is just James McCarthy has got a beautiful point to go 2 up around the 52nd, 53rd minute, something like that, and you're thinking, it's kind of looking like Dublin or Mayo haven't moved in that quarter, and like we'll just have a peep at Keegan here. That's 100 metres by the time he gets that shot off. So they're looking for a leadership. Tom Parsons wins a lovely kick out. That's all very nice stuff. First touch. Lovely inside ball from Aidan O'Shea, who had a storming game today, in my opinion. And this is a great twist and turn. And Andy Moore again on this lovely layoff. And who's in the picture? Keegan has beaten Kieran Kilkenny to the foot race and just lashes it into net. And now Mayo are 1 up. And out of kind of nowhere, out of that bad patch you described, Kieran, Mayo have brought themselves right, but the stadium absolutely shook. And now was the time to get the next score and turn the screw. But that didn't quite happen because Dublin just refused to go away.
But Keegan did an unbelievable man-marking job on Kilkenny, nullified him. And last year did the same with Connolly in the first game. And a lot of people said he didn't get on the ball enough. Now Keegan, man-marking Kilkenny, kicked the ball into the goalie's hand in the first half and got a goal there. Could have had 1-1 at his ease. And still, I felt he could have attacked more. He was one of the main threats that they had. Colin Boyle was gone after 50...
He seemed to want to keep a very close eye on Kieran Kilkenny,
you know. Backline. Dublin managed that half backline well enough today, you know, in terms of attacking. They did, and that was Mayo's major line.
But I think there was a huge factor coming, like the subs, the quality. We always said that before the game. That was huge talking point. Obviously, Durkin was huge from the start. Kevin McManaman was able to come on. Connolly was able to come on. Dublin were able to refresh the forward line. And those extra legs, that bit of freshness, particularly in that last 10-15 minutes, was crucial.
Yeah, it was crucial, and yet there's still nothing between the sides. We're 4 or 5 minutes into at a time.
Level pegging,
looking at a replay. And you've spoken about small margins, 3 of you, all evening. Each had a free kick, and how things can be so different.
Well, I think it was a very difficult game to referee, right? With all respect
how do you think the ref did?
He done okay, but here, this is probably...
As far as and against on both sides.
I think the last couple of frees, listen, there was a hell of a lot of stuff going off the ball today. Probably a lot of stuff worse than that.
You see that in every game,
but the key thing in here, Des, is if you have a free like that, it can either go over the bar, wide, or it can hit the post. Mayo weren't prepared. Nobody pushed up. You know, crucial stage of the game. Dublin come away with it.
Yeah, this is the one at the end, obviously. And we leave aside. We'll come to Dean Rock's
the ref
fabulous. The ref is a great position, so can't doubt him there. But again, I would have thought, in the context of an All-Ireland final, level pegging, this is no more than the early one. This is of the softest fry. But this, lads, is with the pressure. A 2-minute gap, a 2-minute gap to the free, and that's just because Dean Rock had missed 1 or 2 in the first half. He wasn't absolutely on top of his game, but came really into it in the second half. Had to wait his time.
4 points.
And 3 from frees. And that one, you know, Cluxton 11, now this one in 17. No way back, essentially, once he pops it, and he did. Fabulous kick.
It is once in a lifetime kick, like, you know, you get the likes of Cluxton did it to us, like, and you're watching him kicking it, and you're saying, geez, the pressure on him. You know, he might crack.
And you can't mark the kick. There's nothing you can do.
Diarmuid O'Connor wasn't the requisite yards back. There was everybody trying to put him off. There was fellas talking to him before he took the kick. Seriously, and you wouldn't blame them for it. But he had. Well,
let's hear what it was like for him, because we can head back to the Gibson Hotel now, where Michael is with him and somebody else. Michael.
Well, Des, back here at the Dublin Victory Do, things, as you can imagine, are in full swing. In actual fact, just a few moments ago here, Taoiseach Varadkar has spoken to the crowd and, of course, been offering his congratulations to Dublin All-Ireland champions of 2017. Two men with me right now, two very, very famous men in terms of Dublin football, one from the past, one from very much the present, and they, of course, are the Rocks, Barney and Dean Rock. Gentlemen, congratulations to both of you, and you're welcome indeed. Dean, particularly, of course, on this day, congratulations to you. And I suppose I'm going to have to talk to you first about that last moment or two of the match, when you had the free, you got the free that Dermot Connolly won, and you have to step up to it. Now, you're an experienced free taker at this stage. It was a pressure kick.
Yeah, of course, it was a massive kick. It was the last probably kick of the game, really. And it was only about 30 seconds after that. But as you said, Dermot did very well to win the free. And then it was up to me then to put the ball over the bar for the team. It's one of my responsibilities as the free taker to put the ball over in those situations. And I managed to get a good strike in it and went over the bar. So.
Yeah. Barney, you've taken a lot of important frees for Dublin in your time. How would you have fancied that one today?
Well, I think the ones I've normally got weren't to win a game. On that particular stage, it was a great kick to win the game. Yeah. And, I'd never had any problem, doubt that he would kick it over the bar because he's practiced hard at it, and the technique was there. And, it was a fantastic kick and delighted for him.
It was a fantastic kick, but as I said, just in that moment, if you like, the game is in the balance. You can win it or not win it, as the case may be.
Yeah, but it was an opportunity to win the match. I think that was there, to put a score on the board that was going to win the game. And I think from that point of view, it was a fantastic score.
Sure. Before, by the way, the two lads came up here to join us this evening, you haven't really seen too much of each other this evening. Of course, you were held up a little bit in Croke Park.
Yeah, no, I was. Yeah, it's the first time I'd seen Dad today, so it was a nice moment. A couple of minutes ago, just to share the celebration of the victory. So, look, there's lots of things that go on after the game and different things. Yeah. So, but it was a great moment to share with Dad, obviously.
Well, listen, you'll have plenty of time to do that over the next couple of days, no doubt about it. One last thing, Barney, before I let the two of you go. The Dublin team that you played on, a successful team in the 80s, would you compare, or how would you compare your team to Dean's team?
Yeah. Well, I always think that it's very, very hard because you're looking at a team of the 80s, we're totally different to the team of the 90s and the team of 2000s and 2001. This is an exceptional team. They've come together. As the record proves, this is their fourth All-Ireland, and they've already won 3 in a row, something that the great team of the 70s didn't do. But we got the 3 All-Irelands. We thought we were a very, very good team back then, but these are a very exceptional team.
They are indeed. Well, listen, lads, Dublin, Dean, Dublin fans all over are proud of you. And I have absolutely no doubt that Dad's very proud of you as well. Thanks very much for talking to us. Des, back here again a little bit later on. One more function to do, and I think you know, and people here know what that is. The man of the match.
All right, well, we don't know which hotel we'll be going to for it yet, but we'll find out presently. But now it's time to see highlights from the minor final, where Kerry were going for 4 in a row against the Ulster champions Derry. John Kenny reports.
A guy under pressure coming in, a guy that was a lot of stuff thrown at him about not performing, but for that first 50 minutes he was outstanding around the middle of the field. When the Dubs were struggling, it was mainly due to the dominance around the middle of the field. We went for Chris Barrett. I thought he was brilliant today. I thought the Mayo defence were brilliant, especially in the first half, most of the second half. Dean Rock, 4 from play, 3 from dead balls, but the last ball, the balls he showed kicking, that was brilliant. And James McCarthy, an animal of a player, to be fair to him. He is just outstanding as a half-back. I admired him, but now as a midfielder it's very, very hard to make that transition, and he did it seamlessly, and an outstanding year by him as well.
An animal of a player in a nice way. You O'Shea's used the word animal in all kinds of ways. Let's find out who the winner of our man of the match for 2017 final is. We can rejoin Michael Lester.
Yes, well, a day for you. You've won another All-Ireland medal. You've been named, of course, in the team of the year there a moment ago, and you now accept this. So I'm sure you're a very pleased man this evening.
Yeah, no, absolutely delighted, of course. But more delighted we won the match today. It wasn't the easiest of games, of course, but no, just I'm happy out. Yeah, happy out.
Yeah, happy out, and everybody in your club is happy out as well. Ballymun.
Yeah, no, to be all delighted up there now. So, had to make an appearance in the All Band tomorrow, probably at some stage, to keep them all happy. So, I'm sure John Small will be with me as well.
Well, when you do make an appearance tomorrow, you're going to have to get a little bit of makeup to that damage on your left eye there. I suppose we should ask him, Megan, who hit you?
I'm not sure. But anyway,
everybody says you.
A couple of fellas to say, but anyway, when you give them, you can take them every now and then. So we suck it up.
That is fair enough. It's been a remarkable 3 years for Dublin, winning the 3 in a row, of course, and I'm sure you've enjoyed this particular summer of being part of it.
Yeah, no, it's been an incredible journey. We're such a tight group, and we've been through the ringer together. So it's just that's what got us over the line today. I think just so close together, and different guys step up at different stages. So we're just we're happy.
Well, listen, James, many congratulations once again to yourself and to your colleagues. If you wonder how much